Welcome to Point to R.I.S.E, your podcast that gives you permission to dream big, take messy action, and turn your talent into profit while turning your back on perfection. My name is Susanne Puerschel, high performance and mindset coach, former international ballerina, profitable entrepreneur, and founder of Point to R.I.S.E, a movement designed to empower dancers. It is my mission to use my own story as an inspiration for today's generation of dancers. And now sit back, stretch, warm up, or sip your coffee and love learning how much it matters to point at yourself first to rise to all that you are capable of. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Point to R.I.S.E podcast. My name is Susanne, and I am your host today. So for the last coffee chat this season, and well, here you go. We're going to take a break. We at Point to R.I.S.E, we're close to 160 episodes in exactly 1 year. We're going to take a little break from this. We're going to restructure, rethink, and also come up with a new, perhaps, schedule for this podcast. So hang tight. We will be releasing new details in the new year. But till then, do not fear. I will be on Instagram. We will be posting great moments of all the other episodes. Plus, I'm going to be live on there all the time for you for support and dropping in some knowledge. Now, I want to talk about something that I came across on LinkedIn. It was a question from a coach that asked the question, hey, what do you think is the structure that we have put in place in ballet companies in terms of how core soloists, principals, and up the ranks are getting paid? Is that actually a helpful incentive for people to rise to their best potential? Or is it hindering people? Is it actually something that nowadays is still applicable to how we run companies? Is that something that is helpful, or is it in the way? And man, I've been sitting on this for I don't know how long, because I don't think it is really helpful the way it is set up right now. And here's why. Let me tell you why. Because some people simply don't want to be soloists or principals. They are happy with being core dancers. They are fulfilled with being in the core. Now, should they be really penalized for that financially? Like, should they be on the same salary, let's say 20 years long, and make less than, let's say, a junior soloist or principal dancer? Well, I don't think so. And I don't think it really entices people to stay with companies. It really doesn't entice people to give their best, to grow with a company, even though that they're not being maybe perhaps interested in going through the ranks, but they're interested in being, the good, solid foundation every company needs and really appreciates and leans on every single day in the studio and on stage. Like, why should they not be really reimbursed for the energy that they're putting out? Why should they not being valued more by the time they're putting in? So I think there is a lot that we can explore over the next couple of years in terms of how companies are set up in pay structure and, let's say, hierarchy, and you only get this when you do this. And there's another thing that I wanted to just insert here as a food for thought, because so I don't know if you guys have seen all the tweeting along Elon Musk and the the World Food Organization or World Hunger Organization that is part of the UN, claiming that with $6 billion, they can, really solve world hunger, which turned out not to be the truth. However, that opened up a little bit of a rabbit hole in terms of
what people in these non-for-profit organizations actually getting paid. And they're CEOs, C-level executives that get, $500,000 a year. Okay. If they're doing the work and if they're bringing it in, well-deserved, well done. But what dawned on me is that artistic directors in A-level ballet companies make more than that. They make more than that with a lower level of funds that are being raised every year. And I don't get it. I don't understand why artistic directors make more than organizations that solve such a huge problem, A, and B, why, if we are really valuing a director in performing arts that high, then why are we not valuing the people that are actually creating that art on that same level? Why are they starting out with $75,000 a year in a major city like New York City, where they can hardly even pay for an apartment for themselves? They can't invest in themselves. They can't really do anything besides really just, surviving versus thriving, right? And that's not what we really want to do. That's not what artists are actually need. They need to thrive. They need to be free of all of these boundaries in order to create. But yet we're creating these boundaries to not have them be creative as much as they can be. And for me, it just doesn't make sense. I think, particularly in this situation, it's completely broken, like completely broken. Just putting this out here. Now, let me pivot a little bit and tell you what I've been up to over the past, year now, really. I think you've heard me talk about money and arts organization over and over and over again. You heard me talk about the serving artist mentality. You've heard me talk about questioning the current business structure that we have laid in performing arts organizations. And the more and more I dug into this, the more and more I felt that there could be a solution. The more I asked the question, what could the solution be? The more I think I found a way for us to tap into this and really create an example how performing artists can thrive, how performing arts organizations perhaps wouldn't have to rely on donations all the way, depending on how they're actually being committed to serving their audience versus serving their ego. So here's what I came up to. I know most of you know these platforms that, buy me a coffee or Patreon and they're great. They're absolutely great. And I wish I would have thought of that a little sooner. And when I started reading reviews and when I started having conversations, there was a lot of pushback from other performing artists and saying, it's too complicated. And there's so many people on there and giving me all the excuses on why they're not on there to produce an extra income. So I asked a different question. So how can we make that easier? How could this look like easier, less frictionless, less involved, but yet having a bigger return of their investment time-wise, and really truly accelerate the path to sustainability and financial freedom in the performing arts for everybody. And this is how R.I.S.E Media was born. R.I.S.E is just standing for Reimagine Sustainable Entertainment. How can we turn performing arts into a sustainable model that people actually can have a living in there? They don't need to have 2 other jobs where they trade time for their money, and I think that is important. I really want it to be something that where performing artists literally just use their content in order to make money, that companies stop giving away their content over and over and over again and earn their 0.02 cents per 1,000 views on TikTok or on YouTube, and maybe are lucky enough to tap into you in some ad spend or into advertisement. Like, how can we make this bigger for a broader collective so that you don't have to be Misty Copeland in order to have all of these opportunities? Like, how can you create these opportunities for yourself? How can we tap into the media and advertisement for performing arts organizations all together, from like your first level core member or even apprentice that start there to your principal, or even artistic director? Like, how can we all work together for a common goal? And I believe that is where R.I.S.E Media is really wanting to go, and setting an example of this type. No, this not inclusion. What's the word? When we're separated, we're so separated. We're even separated from our audiences. We're separated from the things that we're creating. If that is actually serving, like, it is time that we stop doing and that we start feeling, and that we're stepping back and understanding that if we continue this way, we are not going to see well, another 100 years of performing arts. So R.I.S.E Media is really in its infancy states. It was born out of an idea, and it's become quite large in its vision. We're launching a crowdfunding campaign on November 9th, which I'm, by the way, can I just say how serendipitous this date is? Any Germans, any East Germans listen to this, November 9th, 1989 was when the wall came down, and the wall was standing, dividing the communist country from the bad capitalist country. But it also, basically told us what to do when and how to think all the time. And we weren't allowed to travel and read up on history if you don't know what I'm referring to. And it was the beginning of something that I wanted my entire life. Like, I was so fearful of not being able to go where I wanted to go when I was growing up. And for this campaign to actually launch on November 9th, it means so much more than just a date for me. For me, it's like taking down another wall of beliefs that we have, and stigmas and old ways of doing that. Hey, perhaps we can build a completely different way of doing performing arts, a different way of how people are actually going to come and see us, a different way of how we can bring the arts to other people. There is so much to be solved, and I am tickled with excitement to have everyone that is interested in really being a part of this. There was something else I wanted to say, and now it's gone. I'm telling you. Okay, so what is going to happen over the next month and a half, 2 months until the new year? We will be pulling out different material of all the episodes that we have launched so far. We are going to take a break. There will not be new episodes coming out. However, I will be live on that Point to Rise page. I don't want to commit to every day, but it's definitely calling me. It is pulling me. And I'm telling you, that's probably going to happen, because that's what I feel would be the right thing, to just show up and tell you how I feel and what I'm doing and how we're moving forward with everything. So I know Nutcracker is coming in. I know Thanksgiving is standing in front of your door. I remember very vividly how I felt in my 1 year that I did Nutcracker in the United States. And I am sending you so much love. And I'm really, really telling you that you do not have to be tired all the time. You don't have to feel exhausted and empty all the time. You have options, and it's a matter of you being open to really seeing, hearing, and dipping into these options. It's been a blast, my loves. Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned. November 9th is a huge day for us. We are launching R.I.S.E Media crowdfunding campaign, the very first pre-seed round, in order to build the website out, in order to build an app, in order to hire a few staff members for the flipboard kind of style of news that are coming around every single day for you that you can choose on. And so if you want more information, just DM me, or head over to the R.I.S.E Media page. A lot will be in there, or you can also just drop your email into the beacon link up there and sign up for our weekly newsletter. Okay, do you hear this? Voice is cracking. I'm in an uncomfortable field now. All right, guys, I'm sending you so much love. Tag me, ask questions. Until next time, bye.
Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you are capable of.